Hello everyone, this is D Nice over here at the Printed Word Bookstore in Portsmouth, VA, and welcome to yet another episode of Bookstore Shenanigans. On today's episode, it is still National Poetry Month here at the Printed Word Bookstore, and so we are celebrating all month long by making our own poems and also learning to love and appreciate poetry and poets. Unfortunately, we still don't have any local poets to get in the building. I really want to have some before this series ends, so that is a prayer that I will pray from now on until the end of this month, so we can get a really good episode of an interview. An actual local poet would be awesome. But anyway, I digress. For this episode, we're not going to be going over any of the, where is it? I'm trying to get spatially. Is that it? No, that's not it. Spatially, where is it? I can't see it, but it's in the background somewhere. We have a rack of a couple of poetry books back there here at the Printed Word Bookstore in Portsmouth, VA. And we're not going to dive into any of those today. I'll probably save that for Thursday's video. But today we're going to discuss what the Printed Word has been doing to celebrate National Poetry Month. And that is every week we have been trying to get people to engage and use their creativity and create their own poems by focusing on making acronym poems. So for example, the first week of April we did because we're doing it based upon, for 4 weeks, the Printed Word Bookstore. So week 1, we did the poems. Week 2, we did printed poems. And now we are in week 3 and we're doing word poems. And next week we will do bookstore poems. And so this episode, we're just going to dive into what we've been doing for the poems. So we haven't gotten much engagement, guys. So please, please, please leave your word poems in the comments below, because I posted on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. And we really haven't gotten that much engagement. So I'd really appreciate it if you guys would stretch your minds, get a little creative, and participate in our National Poetry Month celebration here at the Printed Word Bookstore. So, like I said, this week we're focusing on word poems because it's going to be W.O.R.D. So I spent some time writing down, I think 16 total word poems that I came up with. And I don't know why I struggled with this one. The was pretty easy. Printed was more difficult because it was longer, but I think I enjoyed doing printed better because I had more letters to work with. So I was making full sentences. But for some reason with word, I was struggling, guys. So don't make fun of me for the poems that I ended up writing. I'm sure Miss Tara and Mr. Terrence will do a much better job with me on the first try. But I am a silly mind. I am a silly girl, so I love comedy. And so most of my stuff is very unserious, very, very wacky, and very just comedic. But it's interesting to see what your vibe is. Some people would take this and interpret it in a very comedic way and take it not seriously. Other people will take it very seriously and take it more of a scholarly way, or real poets sometimes take it and they just run with it, and they were making actual legitimate poetry works that could be published in a book or something. So that's amazing. So I would love to see some of your submissions in the comments below. This week, focusing on W.O.R.D. word poems. So, without further ado, let us get to some of the poems that I created. Like I said, some of these took longer than I thought it would take to think of these words, because it starts with W. So most of the words, I didn't want them to repeat, even though some of them ended up repeating. It's because W, I think of question words. So I'm like, when, why, where, who? And I just kept thinking of just the question words over and over again. I'm like, come on, there's more W words than that. So here is what I've got. Wacky orangutans really dance. Fantastic. Wonderful, organically read dissertations. That one's a little rough. I admit, it is a little rough. It doesn't make much sense. It doesn't flow very well. That one's probably up for me. By the way, you can rate them on a scale of 1 to 5 as I am going down. Just number and rate how good or how horrible some of my poems are. So moving on. In this one, the first word is Woody, and as in a name for somebody. Woody obliterated red dinosaurs. So that's one of my more wacky, out of the box, not to be taken seriously ones. When outspoken researchers debate. William only records dragonflies. A lot of animals that I've noticed when I do these, whenever I do acronym poems, I always end up throwing animals in there because I'm like, what other A, B, C, D, E, F, G? You learn animals when you're learning the alphabet. And so a lot of times I just throw random animals in there, whether they're real, fictitious or not, just throw an animal in there. Okay, so next up. We're observing retaliating dingoes. Like I said, there goes the animals again. And so when I'm like, I have no idea what word to use, I'm like, throw an animal in there and we'll make sense somehow. Wednesdays only reward doers. So if you're not a doer, you're not going to get a reward on a Wednesday. It's just fact. I wrote it down right here. Next, when orators respectfully digress. Now this one, logically, I don't think it makes sense because you say you digress to let people know that you understand that you have gotten away from the main idea and that you intend to come back. So I guess you don't respectfully digress, you respectfully say, I digress, acknowledging that you have digressed. Anyway, look up the definition of digress. That one doesn't really make sense, but I don't care. So next one. Okay, so for this one, just have an open mind. Remember, W.O.R.D. So this one says, rap or rap, dear. So pretend that this is a husband and wife having a conversation. And the husband just said something about rap. And the wife just wants clarity of, is it W-R-A-P or R-A-P, dear, referring to her husband. So there's a whole scene that is happening in these 4 words that I had to give the backstory of for you to really understand. So that's the beauty of this poetry assignment, is that I am extrapolating from it and creating fictional characters and stories and settings from these poems of 4 words. Moving on. So this one is wrapping as in like a gift. Wrapping orange reads diligently. So this is as if I took a random orange book from our shelves, any of the orange books that we have on our shelves. We have a lot of orange books. And I was just wrapping it, working really hard up in here, just wrapping up orange books. Next, wondering or reflecting dreamily. Is dreamily a word? I don't know. I got to take my SATs again. I feel like dreamily is not a word, and I kind of just added something at the end of it to try to make it a word, but it doesn't feel like it's a real word. But it is in my poems, and so I get to make the rules. Next, whatever option Rachel decides, it's cool with me. So basically, you ask me a question, whatever option Rachel decides. Word. Oh, I actually like this one. Write on random documents. Duh. That's an order. I need you to find some random documents somewhere and write all over them. Okay, now this one was my favorite one, incidentally, because for some reason I was like, I really want to use the word opulence. And I didn't use opulence in this one, but then I was like, do I know what that word means? Is that a real word? So I looked it up, and when I started typing it out, it made it opulent. And so I came up with when opulent rooms disappear. And so look up the definition of opulent. And this one, I believe, is a good title for a book. I don't think it's necessarily a novel. I'm thinking more of a short story. And I mean, it could be extrapolated into a novel, but if I'm writing it, it's going to be a short story because I don't have the patience to write a full novel at this time in my life. But I think I want it to be about, it's going to be faith-based. It's going to be about believers. And it's going to be about classism, I guess, a little bit, where the overarching theme is when you remove the opulence, when you remove like the class, and when you remove that, oh, they have this nice house, these wonderful kids, this luxurious lifestyle, this luxurious room, or they have this luxurious church that have all these amenities and a coffee bar and an awesome kids ministry and all these luxurious items. When you remove that, and we're all on the same playing field, at the end of the day, at our core, we are all children of God. And so that's going to be the main overarching theme, is that you have to understand that the level of luxury that each individual has, or their lack thereof. So there's going to be a major, there's going to be some super judgmental people going into another church and being like, oh, there's a stain on the floor. Oh, look at the pews and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, they realize, oh my goodness, I am not acting Christ-like at all. And so the end result would be just realizing that you strip away the opulence, you strip away the classes, you strip that away, and at the end of the day, you just want to know, is the Holy Spirit dwelling here? And that's going to be the end of it. And so I'm excited. So, can you hear how passionate I was really thinking about this before. I was like writing a whole script about it. I'm like, is this going to be a movie? It might be a movie. But yeah, when opulent rooms disappear, it's going to be either a short story, a novel, and or a full feature-length film. Watch out, folks. I'm going to get in the industry. Anyway, moving on. These are my last two that I wrote. Why only read dictionaries? Like, why? And last but not least, who orders ravenous donkeys? That one I didn't have to put in there, but I thought of it at the end as an afterthought, and I was like, why not? I love saying donkey because I love Shrek. Anyway, that has been all of my word poems. So please leave your word poems in the comments for us so that I can read them and compile them. I would love to have enough entries throughout this month so I can start putting some poems on top of my desk over here, because it would be cute to have a collection of poems written by people who follow us all around the world. So that'd be fantastic. So leave your W.O.R.D poems in the comments below. I hope you guys are having a wonderful, beautiful, blessed day. This, once again, has been D Nice over here, your local bookstore clerk here at the Printed Word Bookstore in Portsmouth, VA. That's where I am. Why does it not clear up when I do that? Anyway, this is exactly where I am, in Portsmouth, Virginia. So I hope you guys have a wonderful, beautiful, blessed day. And until next time, all I have to say is goodbye. And as always, remember to stay in the books.